Welcome to this segment of Soul, Silence, and Sound. This is brought to you by BeSimply.
Stars, trees, clouds, and the moon. They all have a meaning and they look just like you.
Welcome to the segment of Soul, Silence, and Sound. We are at the full moon juncture, just past transit here on the West Coast at approximately 12:44 p.m. According to the Gregorian calendar, it's going to be remembered to be on a day called June 11th and a year called 2025. And so as we have that as our placeholder, I invite you all to be here with me now. And no matter when you're listening to this, the concept of it will meet you when you need it. So today our Dharma talk will lead us to our meditation and then our sound healing. The Dharma talk is focused around the trickster energy, the Coyote, and very much we are entering, almost not officially by lunar count, into the summer gateway, which will start at the next new moon. And to be noted, there are traditions that celebrate these shifts at the equinoxes and the solstices. However, from my lens, I work with the moon right now. And again, no matter how you feel about the moon, it does impact us. So it's a way that we have a tracking device, pun intended, that can help us find our space, our location in our annual cycle with the sun. So with all that being said, let's get into the fun stuff, the trickster, the Coyote. And this is this aspect. Many of you have started to have your own inner awakening to facets of yourself, and then the outer awakening happens simultaneously. It's like all of a sudden when you realize an aspect of yourself, you start seeing it everywhere in the external world, coupled with realizing some quote-unquote truths about the world that you were programmed to live in. And as this deconstruction of self and the world system that we are accustomed to interfacing with is transforming, dissolving in some cases, there is still at large, which in Native American especially, Coyote energy. And that's the Coyote is known as a trickster. And, many tribes, when they are interfacing with a Coyote, if a Coyote appears, they pay attention because it's a signal that there's something to pay attention, maybe energy that doesn't serve. And so what this means in our physical world is that our actual infrastructure as we know it has been constructed on the trickster, the grand manipulation. And that's why we have all these topics like narcissist. We have all these labels to kind of just describe what's been happening. And what happens when we get tricked by this Coyote energy, it creates what we would look at in the Eastern philosophies as a poison in our mind, a delusion in our mind. And then we become confused because we feel like, oh, that's, the gospel or the word. But if it's a manipulation, then there's a poison, meaning that there's an affliction in the inherent nature of what's being shared because it is not actual. And a way to circumvent this is really, and especially even in trauma and all those kinds of things, is to stay to the what is. And the is means like you can say, like right now, the is I'm listening to Suzanne speak to me over my headphones. I'm wearing a purple shirt. I'm sitting in a room. That way you start to define where you are, because ultimately this is a vibrational interdimensional experience we're having, but our awareness isn't there to fully understand that and navigate that. However, when you start awakening from the inside and on the outside, you start to really see what those quote unquote truths are for yourself and others. And keep in mind that your family and friends are all evolving and transforming, and they're starting to see at different rates. And so I've mentioned this before, if all of humanity like awakened at the same time, where the veils completely dropped so they could see, you know, what really is, we might go into like a mass psychosis, because there would be cognitive dissonance, and some of it might be so shocking that it takes a while to really digest it. And this can happen if you bring it back to the personal level. Is, let's say you've been in a relationship with someone and they were manipulating you, they were tricking you and putting up a facade, a charade, if you will. And then once that was exposed, you're shocked, you feel betrayed, you are grappling with the reality that you just experienced with them, because it was potentially all a lie. And this is why in spiritual practice and any faith practice, lying is usually mentioned, because what happens when we're not speaking the truth, meaning what actually is, and we go in to manipulate someone to do something or whatever it might be, then there's like shades of gray there, which sometimes that is needed and other times it's not. I can give an example, like one of my teachers, Tibetan teachers, he said, like, if someone's running by and they want to know where someone is, but they have intent to harm them, and you are okay to tell a lie because your intent is to protect anyone from being harmed. So there are always these shades of gray with that word lie. However, on the grander scheme, on day to day, there are intentional manipulations that ultimately cause harm. So what I would encourage you to do with this full moon is to really give yourself a pause and to see where you are tricking yourself, where you might be in a delusion from the inside out. And that delusion then manifests in your external world in ways where you'll attract this trickster energy. It's kind of like, you know, wearing those rose-colored glasses, and then everyone that needs to comes around and kind of mirrors that back to you. And they are there to potentially cause, I laugh because that's the only way I can keep it light. But they're there to teach you a lesson ultimately. And then once you figure it out, no matter how shocking, how devastating, how much recovery you have to do from it, you've learned the lesson to see the trickster sooner. So this full moon, as we go into summer and winter in a couple weeks, beyond the solstice, is an opportunity to really fully expose that trickster energy that you haven't realized within yourself and in the outside world. And all through the spring, we're seeing these veils drop, and we're seeing more truths, meaning that we're seeing the is, and you can't dispute the is. People can fabricate all kinds of different lenses of stories when it's emotionally based, but when you're being objective and just keeping it to the simple facts with non-emotion, it's easier to really understand what's going on. So this will be helpful for you to practice. And so what that looks like is, first, like I said, just identifying where you trick yourself, where you're, you know, a little unhinged on the inside, and how that really manifests on the outside. And then the practice is saying, okay, if I have this inner lens of myself and I'm tricking myself because it's not really true, how can I shift it, and how do I take action? So let's say someone on the inside has made it out that they're this amazing playwright, but they've never written a play. And maybe in the outside world, they keep talking about these playwrights, or they talk about a playwright, but they've never actually written a playwright or finished a playwright. So how you would bring that delusion into integrity is that you would, one, stop speaking about that playwright that you keep thinking that you've made or haven't made, and then start writing the playwright, and then really take action towards it. So then it is an actual thing that you have completed and you have sent out into the world. And this is just a facet. You might have a delusion that you are this amazing surfer, but you actually don't even know how to surf. Or maybe you just know how to bodyboard, or maybe you have been surfing, but you haven't really mastered it yet. So it's really getting concise with what actually is. And because our society has been built on innuendos, it's been built on suggestion, really subtextual information, it's very easy to all of a sudden be wrapped up in a trick that you don't know really up from down in it. So as you identify where you're tricking yourself, this will help you start to discern through your words, through your thoughts, and then your actions, if they're incongruency with what you dream of. You know, ultimately, these delusions are really these dreams that we have that we would like to create out in the world. And then it's a matter of taking the space to achieve those dreams and visions. And from there, then you can start to see in the outside world, you'll start getting really aware of where things are fabricated. And as we enter into this golden age, the age of artistry, we are going to see the deconstruction of even technology, the way that we're operating with right now, because a lot of manipulation, a lot of coyote trickster energy is in there. It used to be in the printed newspapers, magazines, and your mainstream outlets. And now it has migrated into these digital resources that we use, which can be helpful. However, there's the ability to manufacture a delusion, an illusion about what really is. And that can look in a modern day or present day terms as, say, someone in social media, they have paid and manufactured their following. Let's say that there's someone out there that's manufactured a bestseller, manufactured a greatest hit. This has been happening all this time, unbeknownst to us, and that's why we've been in this delusion, because it's a mind program that has fed into all of our collective minds. And then there's subtleties to this. So once you start seeing it, what we'll see is the dissolve of the manufacturing, the manipulation of our perception of our reality into this era of mastery. No matter what your creative impetus is, it could be being a mechanic, a woodworker, a surfer, a musician, a literary master, a poet, whatever. All things are creative energy. That the ones that will be held because they're at a higher vibration is by the authentic information. And what happens as consciousness continues to awaken is that people that are good at seeing, having a good BS radar, it will become stronger and stronger for everyone, because there are so many people being the observer of the is that it can't be put back in the can again. But you'll start still seeing the attempt to manipulate the delusion and the illusion. And so this is a really powerful time for each and every one of you to really make a commitment to yourself, step out of the mentality of faking it till you make it, step into the commitment to mastery, to study, to authenticity. And this then will help you detect your inner coyote and your outer coyote. And you don't have to feel anything negative about the words I'm saying. Just own them and then start holding yourself accountable. And remember, if you're inspired to, you can do whatever you want. As I always tell everyone, you have free will. But in real time, if you start catching yourself from an old operating system to a new operating system, it's really powerful inner work that really allows the world around you to continue to shift and change and grow. And that wave of consciousness for these new beginnings is way out ahead of anything that's happening right now. And those that like to control and manipulate, they may feel like they're still in power of themselves and others, yet the curve is way beyond anything they had ever anticipated. And this is all thank you to all of humanity. And what separates you from the old system is that you have a heart and you have an eternal being and you are sovereign, irregardless of what anyone wants to say about you. And this will continue to deepen for each and every one of you as you connect to your eternal being. And the other little bit of icing on the cake here is when you move from your eternal being, you then are refining your skills that you will carry not only from here, but into future lifetimes. And then you'll adapt when you're in that location to utilizing those skills. And if you have your heart set being in nirvana or the kingdom of heaven or whatever you want to call it, you will want to be at a level of mastery, because I can pretty much, it's a vibration. It's not based on do's and don'ts here. And so the way to access those places is by having a very purified vibration that allows you to access those areas. And you'll still be able to use your skills there. It'll just be different. Because again, we're multidimensional beings on an eternal track. In a 3D sense, we get really attached to concepts, again, that were programmed into each and every one of us. So with all that being said, we're going to bookend it here by saying, start, if inspired, to notice where you trick yourself from the inside out. If you find yourself pointing it out a lot on the outside world, look in. That could be a facet of yourself, or that might be why you're detecting it, because maybe you have a tendency to trick people in the same way. And then from there, really decide, how do I want to shift from really being in a place of manipulation and being in a place of authenticity, holding yourself accountable, and shifting your lens so that you can refine your consciousness and your daily actions through your mind, through your voice, and your heart, and your actions for the benefit of yourself and others. So that was a lot, but it's kind of exciting to have these opportunities to contemplate these things and then see where they go. So now I would love for you just to let all of that fall away. Let it fall away through your system into the earth. And I welcome you into an upright seated position if that's comfortable. And then from there, if your mind tends to be busy, if you tend to be a little hyperactive, I recommend that you get a candle. You can pause this and light it, or put a little object down in front of you. And then you're going to bring yourself into an upright seated position, just rising up, 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 up. Drop those shoulders down, and then bring yourself to a soft gaze down in front of you. And then take a nice deep breath in. And exhale out. Again, inhale. And exhale. Good. Again, inhale. And exhale. Good. And continue to follow your natural breathing pattern. Just gently gazing at that focal point if you're doing that. And if the mind becomes distracted, refocus on your breath as your mantra, and a soft gaze at a focal point, and continue on. For good measure, we'll do one more breath. Deep breath in and out. Gently from there, I welcome you to gently lean back and recline or move fully into Shavasana, a prone position on your back with your palms facing upward as we transition into receiving sound. As you settle in, just take a nice gentle breath into the heart and out. Again, inhale. And exhale. And one more inhale. And exhale. And then continue to follow your natural breathing pattern.
Ado
Taking a soft, gentle breath, breathing in and out of your heart center. Gently breathing in and out. Again, inhale. And exhale. Good. Another one. Inhale. And exhale. And as you continue to breathe in and out, I welcome you to gently return your awareness back to here. And you can stay in Shavasana, or you can gently roll over onto your right or left side if you're ready, curling up into a ball. And while you'll do that, just follow your breath. And then when you're ready, you're going to come up into a seated position, bringing that spine all the way up and then dropping the shoulders down. And so no matter what position you're in, just take a moment to express silent gratitude for all aspects of yourself. And as you breathe in and out and give thanks for all that you are, really deeply own that gratitude, even for your jagged little edges. And then gently from there, as you continue to rise up and be here with my speaking voice, take a moment to just express gratitude for person, people, and or place, compassion that you feel it might be needed, wanted, and welcomed. Good. And then gently from there, I just want to simply remind you that as you notice the tricks within yourself, you will start to see the bridge to the outside world, that where those tricks have magnetized to you. And then as you transform that energy, the trickster will fade away and you will be less and less susceptible of mind control, being programmed, and being an energy feeding source for people and entities that were destined to be here with us at this point in time to do just that. And we can look to them as our teachers, our masters, because not as a master like above you, but like a master teacher, they are giving you the opportunity to learn the facets of what it means to trick, what it means to feel betrayed by that energy, and then to motivate each self to not participate in that karmic wheel. And when we're done with a degrading wheel of action and thought and emotions, then we liberate ourselves from that facet of reality. It doesn't mean that we'll be exempt from seeing it around us, but we'll be better equipped to navigate it. And then there is potential down the road that you might re-engage with it and notice where you might still have some energetic areas that aren't resolved. And I call those traumatic landmines that are ready to be neutralized. And so it's a process, and there's no rush, but it's good to have the awareness about it. So if inspired, take a few moments to sit and write, really focus inward. Everyone's trying to solve the outer issues, but if you solve your inner issues, if you find inner peace and harmony with yourself, the world around you starts to shift. And that is a beautiful thing. And all you have to really be focused on is you, and then you will know how you can serve your brothers and sisters that are nearby in proximity. And then the whole world's taken care of. So this is an exciting opportunity to master the trickster. So I want to thank each and every one of you for being here in this moment. I appreciate you taking the time to sit and be. It's a gift to you, and I'm thankful that you create that space to be here with me. I want to thank Kadri Scott, Dante Marino, and Random Rav for contributing in your own different ways. And we're going to exit out with a little Kadri Scott, so stay a little bit longer. And until next time, this is Suzanne signing out with a full heart, a soft gaze, a deep bow, and a namaste. Be simply.
Something changed, it'll feel so strange now. And if you show